What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I wanted to give you guys a quick update on my journey to becoming a 7-figure funded day trader. So over this past week I bought my first batch of 3 evaluations from Apex and actually ended up passing them within about a week to get my first $150,000 in funding from Apex. So just to recap from the last video, I decided to use Apex trading because they actually allow you to have up to 20 funded accounts at the same time. So that's more than the 3 that I typically see at other prop firms. And having 20 is just a bigger advantage when it comes to just commanding more capital, the flexibility that you have to bring in profits. So that was a huge selling point for me to go with Apex instead of let's say like Top Step or other companies that I've worked with. And just so you guys know, they extended their 80% discount on all of their accounts to this upcoming Tuesday, April 2nd. So if you haven't already and you are interested in working with Apex for your trading, make sure to visit the link in the description below. And I'll also have the discount code set right here so you guys can use that to get your 80% off until next Tuesday. So in the last video, I talked about how I was going to approach this challenge of becoming a 7-figure funded day trader. And it was to use Apex to basically work up to getting 20 accounts. But my plan to do that was to go through and buy and pass evaluations in batches of 3, which is still the case. And it's really just because it fits my budget right now. And it's better for me mentally and psychologically to just trade 3 at a time rather than trading 5, 10, 15 accounts at the same time. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. I'm gonna go over this past week of trading, some of the things that I did, and my overall thoughts on passing these 3 evaluation accounts with Apex. So we have the profit dashboard here for my accounts. Took about 6 days. I actually ended up passing these 3 accounts this past Thursday on the 28th of March. So yeah, it took about 6 days consistently or consecutively. And I actually didn't have any red days, which is pretty crazy. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not always going to be the case going forward. Traders, no matter how experienced you are, will always have a red day. It's just really trying to figure out how to mitigate those as much as possible and making sure that your profits are more than your actual losses if you want to be a profitable trader. So that's what it really just comes down to. You know, having a red day doesn't mean that you're a bad trader, just means that you're human, and you know, you can always just go up from there, right? So yeah, so 6 days of trading, pretty consistent profits. So I was averaging around $400 ish on all of these days. Some of them were a little bit higher. Thursday was a little bit of a different day for me. It was kind of I had some money that I had to make up because I took some losses, but I ended up actually passing on that day. So ended up using a few more contracts than I wish I did, or that I normally would have, but it ended up working out. So that's definitely an anomaly day that I want to avoid going forward, but everything else was pretty consistent. 1 to 2 contracts, very consistent hits, base hits, which brings me to my next point of how I traded these. I had to adjust my trading strategy a little bit, just because of the trailing drawdown that Apex uses and requires. So I didn't want my trailing drawdown to get hit as much. So I was essentially just taking my base hits using 1 to 2 contracts. I didn't want to see it run up and then come back down. That kind of gave me a little fright and panic, just because I'm not used to it. Normally when I use Top Step in the past, you know, I would be able to sit through those pretty easily, just because even if it hits my break even, then I don't actually lose money on the trade. But with Apex, it's a different strategy that needs to be employed and a different mindset. So I'm kind of playing around with it. I think I did a pretty good job for my first batch, but I definitely need to improve and figure out, you know, what is the sweet spot for profit taking. But as of now, it was around 10 to 15 points, 1 to 2 contracts. That's, you know, definitely doable. It doesn't even need to be a super volatile day. It's 10 to 15 points is pretty easy to find, or not easy to find, but you can find it a lot more consistently than the 30 to 50 point swings that I would normally look for in a trade. So that's just kind of how I thought about going into passing these and approaching these. Eventually, when I get my funded accounts with Apex, those are the types of trades that I'll be looking for, rather than the huge, end range trades that you typically see ICT traders looking for. But yeah, that's just kind of how I approached the first batch of 3. I did want to be a little bit more aggressive with these evaluation accounts. I wasn't super afraid of blowing them just because of the 80% discount, but obviously that's not my goal. I wasn't trading 5 to 10 contracts per account. I was still working with 1 to 2. 2 was me being a little more aggressive. I typically just trade 1 mini on these 50K accounts, just because it's, there's a good amount of risk with a mini contract rather than a few micros. But yeah, I want to be focusing on passing these as quickly as possible, so that I can get my funded accounts and build upon that portfolio of funded accounts. So the next steps from here will be to essentially activate these accounts to funded accounts. So I have 3 funded accounts ready to go, and then buy my second batch of 3 and try to trade both at the same time. It's I still don't really know exactly how I'm going to do that and which ones I'm going to focus on first and then second, but I've done it in the past. It's very doable. I just need to be very careful. So with my funded accounts, I'm probably going to be just literally hitting my base hits of 10 points and just calling it a day. I don't want any more or any less, just so that I can start building up my profits within those accounts and building up my just the room that I have to work with. And then with my evaluation accounts, I'm probably going to just do what I did for my first batch of 3, be a little more aggressive, go for the base hits again, but maybe potentially the next level of liquidity, or a little, obviously, essentially a little more than the 10 points that I'm looking for within my funded accounts. So I'm hoping to pass these within the next week or so. Might be a little bit hard because this upcoming week is NFP, so I might not trade some days, so it might take a little longer than a week. But I also don't really want to set a time limit or a deadline to do these. That's just, when you play or when you trade against a deadline, it never works out. So I'm just gonna go with the flow, and whatever happens. If it takes me 3 weeks, that's completely fine. Obviously not ideal, but as long as I'm, preserving capital and I'm staying consistent and I'm following my trading plan, that is a win in my books. So, however long it takes is however long it takes. But that is the plan. Get my funded accounts activated and ready to go, and get my next batch of 3, and then continue to build upon, my first batch, and basically build out that portfolio. So just rinse and repeat from here on out. Hopefully get my first withdrawal with my first batch of 3, soon. But I might have to push that a little bit more just so I can build some more cushion within those accounts. But that is essentially the plan. It's just to kind of rinse and repeat this entire thing, and build upon that portfolio and get to that cap limit of 20 accounts, so that I can start trade copying more. I can employ different strategies when it comes to utilizing different accounts and trading different strategies. So that is the goal going forward. But overall, this has been a pretty good start for me for my journey to becoming a 7-figure funded trader. I had a pretty good start. It took a little bit of adjusting in terms of strategy and just mentality and psychology. Sorry. But I think I'm making the right strides. I'm taking the right steps to make sure that this is a long-term thing. And I just really need to focus on consistency and following the game plan. So whatever my trading plan is, I need to just be disciplined, stick to it, don't get greedy, don't get emotional, and just really take those base hits and get in and get out. That is my goal. I'm not going for the multiple $1,000 days per trade. I really just want to slowly build these accounts up And just because of the trailing drawdown, I don't want to risk messing with that. But that is the plan going forward. And like I said, just rinse and repeat. I want to make this as mechanical as possible, so that it's literally just me clicking a button, because I know everything has already happened in terms of my trading criteria, entry criteria, and everything just starts building upon each other and exponentially growing. So that is a goal, and hopefully in the next video I will be back with another update where I say, hey, I just got another $150,000 in funding, and on to the next. But till then, good luck you guys, and thanks for stopping by. Make sure to use the 80% discount code in the description and linked or set up right here if you are interested in working with Apex for your funding. They're a great company. I love what they do. They have a ton of payouts going out. It's insane to see what they're paying out to people. So they are legit. Check them out. Use the discount codes. You will get 80% off on any of the accounts you want to buy. And they also have a pretty good support system. They have a Discord channel where you can go and ask questions. They have a ton of mods that are willing to help, and other experienced Apex traders that have a lot of experience and can answer some of your questions. So I think they're a great company to work with. My experiences with them have been pretty positive. No real complaints. So I'm, it's a good experience so far, and I would highly recommend them to anyone else that is looking for a prop firm to work with. But yeah, until next time, good luck you guys, and I will see you in the next video.